All right, Mob, welcome back to the Cream of the Crop 4th and 31 podcast, your one-stop shop for all things college and SEC football. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a minute. I'm your host, part of the Killer Bees broadcasting team, the Chad Bullock. Tonight, 3 out of the 4, that's not a bad percentage. That's 75% of our announcers, of our announced team. 3 out of 4, we got the boss, Scott, producer. I don't know which part of the Killer Bees is today. And the man, the myth, the legend, and the coach, Bo. All three of us here tonight. All right, guys. So, Mob, we have our two Final Four games. We're going to start off with Miami and Ole Miss. I mean, honestly, the best game of the weekend. The other one was a complete crapper, which I didn't see the other game going as bad as it did. But I mean, Indiana just shows you. I mean, they're like the damn near new standard of college football now. How'd that happen? So let's get in to the Fiesta Bowl. Miami 31-27 over Ole Miss, and guys, Carson Beck actually had a damn good game in that game, and we'd kind of been not necessarily criticizing him and giving him the game management kind of label for the past several weeks. Producer, what you got?
Man, I tell you what, I said going in, this was my favorite game of the week. It definitely did not disappoint. You couldn't take your eyes off of it for 2 minutes, man. You would have missed something. Shout out to Ole Miss. These guys, I mean, since the Lane Kiffin debacle, like, I gotta give Pete Golden some love. I mean, these guys played their butts off. I mean, you knew you were gonna get Miami's A game. They brought it, and they did everything they were gonna do. But Ole Miss, I mean, they were not gonna lose this game. And I mean, this literally went down to the wire. We'll talk about that last play in a minute, but that one still kind of sticks me. But I mean, I just got to give love to Ole Miss today. I mean, you're not going to hear me do this after the season's over. So when the season starts next year, I'll be back to hating Ole Miss again. But I mean, look, I got to give them love when it's due. I mean, they played their tails off. Back to Miami. Congratulations on making it to the national title game. Again, they have proved all of us wrong during them. I mean, they were the team. They were just one of the teams that wasn't supposed to be here. And they've proven every bit of the way they belong in this game. They really do. They belong in this national title game, and I look forward to seeing what happens in it. But they definitely took care of business against Ole Miss. Like I said, Ole Miss hung in there for as long as they possibly could. Last play of the game, I will be ripe about that for a minute because I've heard people say, "Well, they're not going to call pass interference on a Hail Mary." Sweetheart, that was not a Hail Mary. That was from the 35-yard line. That's not a Hail Mary. I mean, the guy was literally, he was toting him to the ground before the ball even got there. Say what you want, whatever. And I'm not saying that's why they lost, but I mean, come on. I mean, outside of that, there was a lot of holding calls on Miami that were not called. I know that one offensive lineman, and man, every time I happened to see him in the play, he was literally like hands full of jersey. So, I mean, but hey, I mean, what a dogfight that game was. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'd watch that game 10 more times. Probably will, in fact, do that. It was just very enjoyable. Again, a lot of fight from my Ole Miss, a lot of fight from Miami. Again, you knew what you were going to get from both teams. Felt bad for Chambliss. I mean, Chambliss should have been, we said this last week, Chambliss should have been in New York. But I mean, greatest player on the field, and I'll still say that. But no, it was tough to see Ole Miss lose. Now SEC is out, so we're hearing traction from that, obviously from the haters. But congratulations to Miami. At the end of the day, you deserve to be here, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, Miami fans. They belong in the Natty.
Yeah, and I think arguably the best game of the college football postseason so far.
Mhm.
It was such a great game. You hated to see it end on that type of no call. Now, I know Miami's going to say there was some pushing and shoving, and they're also going to say, I've heard, well, it was uncatchable. Well, it was uncatchable because your defensive back was grabbing his jersey.
Mhm.
Now, like Scott said, there was a lot of calls in that game that were bad, but you just hate to see a game of that caliber, that instant classic, end on a non-call like they had in the end zone. Bo Carson Beck, like I said earlier, 23 of 37, 268, 2 touchdowns. Easily the best game that he's had that I can remember this year. What you got?
Well, The great thing about college football or football in general is when you watch a team, you can really see the true measure of a team by how they win a game. So they go to College Station, raucous environment, um, and all they did was they just leaned on the running game all game. And now their defense played phenomenal, but all they did they just leaned on the running game until they got their moment to strike. And there was a 25-mile-an-hour wind blowing across the field. You're dealing with the 12th man. They had a lot going against them in that game, but they just kind of just hung in there and hung in there and hung in there. And A&M made the mistake, and then they countered. Game 2, they won that with their defensive front four and the run game. I mean, that they limited Beck's throws. They just kept milking that clock, and they exposed Ohio State. If you're Ohio State, you got to look and you got to say you scored 14 against Texas, you scored 10 against Indiana, you scored 14 against Miami, and your offensive coordinator's gone, which may be a plus. So, and in this game, they let it rip. They got Malachi Tony involved. That kid's electric. I don't care how old he is, he's electric. They've got playmakers, and to the last play of the game. Even if they call it, I'm not saying Miami wins or Ole Miss wins the game, but damn, just get it right. I mean, but to you all's point, guys, that was not pass interference. That was a tackle. That wasn't interference. That was a tackle. The defensive back had his jersey like this, had him by his jersey and his shoulder pads, and then just tackled him, and the receiver still got one hand on the ball. So, I mean, I hate to see that. I hate to see the way that ended. I mean, that was a classic heavyweight fight. I felt like about halfway through the third quarter, I said, whoever has the ball last is going to win. And then Ole Miss got the ball back with 25 seconds left. I mean, they moved the ball 40 yards in 20 seconds. Quick. Chambliss, what a phenomenal story. I mean, what a phenomenal story. But Miami, man, they are so good at the point of attack on both sides of the ball. Indiana's going to have their hands full with that bunch, but what a game! What a game! I thought both teams in the first half played it a little on the slower side, and in the second half, buddy, they just let it rip. I mean, they let it rip. I mean, Miami ran like 90 plays in that game. And I really felt like watching that game, Miami was the much better team, but Ole Miss just kind of kept making them run another play, and there was some penalties in there, and a few things to clean up for Miami. But I look at that and I'm like, I don't think that's any big issue. I will say this: Pete Golding and any defensive coordinator out there, when you got a chance to win the freaking game, win the freaking game. Don't sit there and continue to rush 3 at the end of the game and rush 4 and drop 7 and drop 8 and just let them work the way down the field. You had multiple chances to end those drives, and you wouldn't. You're scared. I mean, okay, the ball goes over your head and they score quick. Okay, that's just more time for you because Miami was gassed at that point. You finally got them gassed there in the fourth quarter. And I think Ole Miss scored the balls about every time they had the ball in the fourth quarter. But also a great job by Miami's defense, though, holding Ole Miss to 5 field goal attempts. So that played a big factor in it as well. But nothing aggravates me more in those situations like that. Game's on the line, and we're going to play soft, and we're just going to let them go down the field and let them go down the field. And let's just let them go ahead and get in field goal range and let them kick the field goal to at least to send it in overtime. And then they just keep giving and giving and giving, and then they score. I don't know if Pete Golding realized that Miami had the better team, and you were going to have to try to create something because you were not going to. Ole Miss was not going to stop them. Nothing aggravates me more. All it takes is one well-timed blitz, ball comes out, game's over. You're not going to stop them. You may as well roll the dice.
Hey, don't waste your I can't stand it segment now, man.
Oh, don't worry. I still got ammunition.
Yeah. But Trinidad Chambliss hit his year, 3,937 yards, 22 touchdowns, 3 picks. I mean, and he wasn't invited to New York. That's a shame. And one other thing on this game before we move on, minus points for both of you because you didn't mention the kicker hitting the upright twice.
Oh, yeah. And the funny part of it was if he was trying, there's no way he could have done it.
Oh,
Not a
right.
chance.
No, the first time he did it, and I was like, that's just unlucky. And he missed it.
Right.
The second time he got it and hit it, I
Got
was
it
like,
in
yes, that's a
it
pattern.
went- like that,
Yes.
that guy needs to go to a casino quick. Like,
Yeah, no
Right.
kidding. And one other thing, Lacey, 11 carries, 103 yards. I know he got hurt. I don't remember him coming back in that game. I was kind of babysitting
did.
my nephew.
He did.
he
So
came back, but it was, I mean, he ripped off that 75-yard run or 73-yard run, and then he didn't come back until well into the second half. And
Okay.
you could see the difference in the offense with Lacey in and with Lacey
Yeah.
out. And again, I'm not saying Ole Miss wins with Lacey in, but with Lacey in, they could control the game better.
Yeah.
And he was. We talk about Trinidad Chambliss. Lacey was a difference maker.
Yeah, he's definitely a talent that we'll see playing on
I
Sunday.
mean, when they run that inside zone, and he just gets in there, it's like he just gets into a little bitty crack and then just finds a way to pick up 4 yards every time he touches the ball. I mean, it's you sit there and say, well, big deal, a 3-4 yard run. It's easier to call 2nd and 6 than 3rd and 11 or 2nd and 11, 2nd and 10.
Yeah.
So stay ahead of those sticks.
No, point well taken. All right, let's move on to the game that made me feel better about Alabama. Indiana just drubs Oregon 56-22. I didn't necessarily see it being let's see if my Davidson math is correct, 34-point win for the Oregon Ducks. Broducer, what you got?
Well, as predicted, I said if there was going to be a blowout, it was going to be this one. I didn't see this coming, that big of a blowout. I guess I should have. But wow. I mean, God, you hate it. Was so bad that in the post game press conference, like Dan Lanning is like, I mean, all he could do was laugh. I mean, he's sitting at the table and he's like, he's just sitting there smiling and shaking his head like we just got our ass whooped. You just got to take this into next year and don't forget it. Use it. This is a learning tool. You learn from this. And that's all you can say. I mean, good God Almighty. I mean, Indiana, man. I look. I just hope we're paying attention. As I just hope Alabama, the people that matter in Alabama, are paying attention to what he's doing and what they're doing in Indiana. If you watch how they're using the portal, watch how they're maneuvering. Seems to definitely work. I mean, I know they're only 2 years in, but good God, man, they don't make mistakes. These guys, and they're not. It's not like you got a bunch of you don't have a lot of bagmen on that team. You don't. They're not there for money. They're there to win, and it shows on the field. You know what I mean? Like, it's impressive. It is impressive. It's not. It's almost like It's not your modern day college football in Indiana right now. They're not doing it that way. So I just hope people are taking notes because I like what I'm seeing over there. I mean, I'll go ahead and throw a prediction out here. I don't think Miami's beating them. I don't know where y'all stand with that, but we'll get to that game later. But I mean, God, I mean, I just don't remember the last time I've seen a team this mistake-free. Of course, it was Alabama. Probably, 15, 17 maybe?
20.
2020.
2020.
That's a good one. That's good. Man, it's been a while.
Because that 20 team played an all SEC schedule and just destroyed everybody they played.
Yes. And like I said, mistake-free. That's the biggest thing with me with this team. There's not a lot of penalties. They're always where they're supposed to be. I mean, I'm watching this defense and I'm watching these DBs. That's one of my favorite parts to watch is the secondary. And, man, they are never out of position. Ever. That first play, pick six. I mean, what? Like, what are we watching right now? I'm taking this in. because man, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. And again, this is Indiana. I mean, they haven't been here, but they don't act like it. They are literally lining up every single game like they've been here before, and they expect to dominate you. That's their attitude, their focus, and it's amazing to watch. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. Yes, they beat my team. They beat the hell out of my team. They embarrassed the hell out of all of us. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I've enjoyed watching it, and I certainly enjoyed watching them manhandle Oregon. I mean, I always want to see a good game, and I hate that happened to Oregon. But just to watch this and every single play, every single play it's so perfect. They do not make mistakes. That's a hard team to beat. And as much as I love Miami, and yes, they should be there. And again, we're going to talk about this coming up. But I mean, I wouldn't want to be on their. I wouldn't want to be on their schedule. I just wouldn't. I mean, good God, dude. They embarrass you. I mean, they literally know your weaknesses. They exploit. They everything's out. If you're bad at one particular thing on the field, they're going to expose it, and they're going to run it dry in your face all day long. Man, what a terrible game that was for Oregon. But
depends on which side you were on.
Right. But I mean, hey, man, congrats to Indiana. What they're doing right now, I know their fan base has got to be just ecstatic. I know I would be. And I'm just enjoying watching it, man. I really do. I mean, they did whatever they wanted to do, and Oregon could not move the ball. Oregon could not stop them. Both sides of the ball, they just owned it the entire game. So, go Hoosiers.
Few things. Good thing for Oregon is they don't have to change their helmets. They can still keep the 0 for the number of championships they've won on the side of their helmet. So there's that. That's a positive. I tease because I care and it's funny. So, I have a sense of humor, ducks. Another thing is Indiana only had like 360 yards of offense and had 56 points. Now you're like, wow, that's pretty good. They turned Oregon over 3 times, had the pick 6. Oregon made the mistake of the snap, and then Indiana had a short field. But I mean, the defense just suffocates you. They're like a boa constrictor. They just suffocate you until there's no life in you. And you could tell by halftime, Oregon wasn't having any of it. It was just like the Alabama game. It's like, what do you do? Nothing we're running is going to work. And probably looking at the play sheet, nothing we have is going to work. So at that point,
Get me
what
out
do
of
you do?
here.
Yeah. Bo, what you got?
What's amazing to me is Fernando Mendoza has thrown 8 touchdowns and has thrown 6 incompletions. And I think that's all you need to know right there about how dominant Indiana has been. And it's interesting because when they beat Alabama, it was a slow drip. It was a death by 1,000 cuts. We actually stopped them, and I think we got the ball first, and picked up a first down or 2, and looked okay, kind of coming out of the gate, and then we punted, and then they get the ball, and we sack Mendoza twice and get the ball back, and okay, then we start playing the field position game. I'm like, all right, we're good, and then they go down and get a field goal, and then we turn the ball over on our own end, and then we fumble the football, and then once you do that, it's over. Once you start giving them the football like that, it's over. But still, even at that, it was only 10-0. But it just was death by 1,000 cuts. Oregon was a demolition. I mean, just flat out from the first play of the game, pick 6. Now, then Oregon comes back and scores, and then Indiana got the ball, went right back down the field and scored. And I said, ball game. And I knew this game hinged on how Dante Moore would perform. And what I mean by perform, I don't need him to throw for 400 yards. I need him to make the right throws and to protect the football.
He didn't.
And he didn't do any of that. People keep talking about Dante Moore, the number 1 quarterback. If I'm an NFL GM, not for my organization, I've watched it too many times. I've watched him too many times get in these games and hit the self-destruct button. It just is what it is as far as that's concerned. but as far as the totality of the game, they got out hit, they got out coached, they got out schemed, they got out everything. And it doesn't matter if it's the days when Chip Kelly was there. Was it Mark Helfrich was after Chip Kelly? Now you got Dan Lanning. It's the same thing with Oregon. It's the same thing. Every time they get in these big games like this, they get in the big spot, they get on the national stage. This is what they do. I mean, they play Ohio State for the national championship. Ohio State turns the ball over 4 times, still blows them out. They play Auburn. Auburn had the 12th ranked defense in the conference in the SEC that year, that Cam Newton team. And Oregon, Auburn shut them. Well, Auburn shut their run down so much that Oregon threw like 50 passes in that game. So, I mean, it's just time and time again. They get on this big stage. I mean, when Kalen DeBoer was at Washington, beat them twice in the regular season and in the Pac-12 championship. That was the year that Washington played for the national championship. Then you have this debacle. I mean, it's just one after another after another. Like if you're, and I'm not saying that to insult Oregon or their fans, at one point you got to say, when is going to be our breakthrough moment? Ducks, I can't answer that. Only their team is going to be able to answer that. But the good thing is with the portal open and recruiting, you can figure out, what your needs are and reassess things, and you can patch things fairly quickly. But man, I mean, that was an absolute outright demolition. I mean, just from the jump.
Yeah, and just looking at Mendoza's stat line, you want to talk about the like, if you looked up the word efficient in the dictionary, that would have been his stat line. He was 17 to 20, 177 yards, 5 touchdown passes. That's freaking nuts.
177 yards. That's crazy.
That's wild.
And how efficient this guy is. So we got the final set. It'll be next Monday night.
And let me say one thing about Mendoza. You know what's crazy? And just to tell you what a change of scenery can do for a player and some quality coaching is that 2 years ago, last year when Mendoza was at Cal, he orchestrated Florida State's only conference win, their only win against a Division I opponent last year. And he took the Cal Bears into Doak Campbell, and they got beat. And that was Florida State's only win against a Division I opponent. And a year later, he's a Heisman Trophy winner and about to win a Natty. That just goes to show you what sound structure, leadership. I mean, because nobody has spent more in the portal than Florida State the last 2 years, probably. And they probably have the least amount of wins to show for it. And here he goes. He gets the coaching, he gets the structure, he gets the infrastructure, and he gets the supporting cast. And here he is.
Yeah.
All right. So we got our championship game set up for next Monday night, and we'll have a preview show for that. Miami and Indiana. I think that's going to be a great game. We're not going to give any spoilers like who we picked. I think the boss did. That's okay. This is your baby. You can spoil it if you want to.
Do whatever you want with it.
I mean, I'm just a subordinate here. So, all right. So let's kind of switch gears. We'll get into the transfer portal because Alabama had a few bad days. And then today, inexplicably, just had a very good day in the portal. I think they got 3 or 4 guys. Started off, they got a kicker from, where'd he go? Marshall. Lorcan Quinn hit a 52-yarder, 21 to 26. Not bad. They ended up getting Ty Haywood, the tackle from Michigan. They got Kedrick Bingley Jones from Mississippi State, defensive lineman. They got a punter, Adam Watford from Northern Alabama. Averaged 46.5. He had a long of 74, and he had 21 punts of 50 or more yards.
Hey, and the kicker from I was listening to the another show today, and the kicker from Marshall. Not only is he Irish, straight up from Ireland.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep him away from the whiskey. Two, he was 4 of 6 from 50 plus. So big leg guy.
Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely, we haven't had a decent kicker in a few years. We also got Noah Rogers, NC State. He was also a former Ohio State commit, so he was like a 4 or 5 star, however you want to, whatever class, whatever service you want to go with. And then also Bray Hubbard announced today that he's going to return in the secondary, so that's a huge news. Scott, anything on this?
No. Well, look, I'm few things. One's going to be I can't stand it, so I'll hold off on that part. But I mean, we lost 11 O linemen when all this first started, and I think we've replaced 7 of them. So we've made some moves there. But I try to, after this whole Hollywood Smothers thing, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of tampering off the excitement. I'm not, that hurt, man. That stung. That was bad. I mean, this guy was enrolled in classes, and he took off to Texas. What the hell does that say about you, my friend? I mean, really. It's already bad enough, the transfer portal is, but when you got crap happening like that, it's really hard to get excited anymore. It's hard to get excited about anything. And I know not everybody's like that, but that one stung. That one hurt. So,
Boss, just one thing to back that up real quick. There was a time where that would have been illegal.
Mm-hmm.
If a player had already enrolled in another university, right, and then you tried to go in and take him from said university, that would have resulted in sanctions. But the problem is there are 0 sanctions. Right. Nothing is illegal. 80s right. SMU is rolling over in their grave right now. The old Southwest Conference is stomping their feet right now.
Yeah. I just feel
like there should be. Camaro is warming up in the driveway as we speak.
I don't understand why we can't have contract signings. When a player comes in for their NIL or whatever the hell.
It doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. It doesn't matter. Even if they sign contracts, it doesn't matter. Just like the situation with the quarterback at Washington, Damon Williams. It doesn't matter because they're not employees of the school. So hearts, contracts are like hearts. They're meant to be broken. And in a lot of cases, I think it was like Diego Pavia. He tried to get his 6th year. They said no. So he sued the NCAA. He sued the state of Tennessee. A judge issued an injunction, and he just said, screw it, I'm going to play because nobody's going to do anything. And that's where we're at, guys. That is seriously where we're at. All you got to do is take it to court. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing. So there was tampering with the quarterback from Washington, which I think is great because everybody's on lane. Yet, as of 4 days ago, Iowa State only had 20 football players, but that was perfectly okay, because I'm sure none of those guys got tampered with before Matt Campbell left campus. But and look, I'm not just calling Matt Campbell out; it's everywhere. Think about what's about to go down between LSU and Ole Miss. This is about to get nasty. Frank Wilson, as soon as their season's over, goes to Ole Miss. Lane leaves Ole Miss, goes to LSU. And then you got all kinds of guys there coaching that are going to try to poach players while they're coaching them, while they're coaching Ole Miss, they're getting ready to leave for LSU. You don't think that came up in a side conversation? Hey, man, why don't you come on over next year? What in the world is going on? But I love it that it's Lane Kiffin because he is now, because when Lane does it, it's the worst ever. He is the new evil empire of college football, and I love it, and I'm all for it, and I'm here to watch it. And I'm so upset that my daughter couldn't have signed with LSU when she was offered her cheer scholarship, but they wouldn't waive out-of-state tuition. $40,000 a year is entirely too much on 2 teacher salaries. So I would love nothing more than my daughter to be in Baton Rouge cheering on that sideline for that coach and that team, knowing what's going to transpire the next 3-4 years while she would be there. And I would be so down for it.
Well, the only reason you're complaining about the $40,000 is because you only bet for pizza money. If you think bigger,
well, if I thought bigger, I probably wouldn't have a house. So let's let's keep this. And let's remember, it's just like these sportscasters on television. They're like the weathermen. They're wrong at least minimum 50% of the time. So even the professional gamblers, I mean, if they go 60%, that's like unbelievable. So
Yeah. All right. Well,
don't want that life, brother.
all right. Well, I'll since Scott brought up the Hollywood, him and Cam Coleman go to Texas. Deuce Knight signs with Ole Miss. It's a good pickup. Malcolm Simmons, who we once thought maybe come to Alabama, he signed with Texas Tech. And as we talked about pre-show, linebacker Quay Rusau commits to or signed with Ohio State today. So today was a pretty busy day for the portal.
Hey, also, Chad, that big edge rusher was it Wilson from Missouri is supposed to be coming in for a visit. And Alabama's supposed to be making Alabama's supposed to be making a hard push for him. So I mean I was looking at 247 rankings. He's like the 6th or 7th overall prospect.
Yeah, there's lots of projections and visits. It's hard to heck, if I did projections and visits on this show, we'd be here till Thursday. But boss, what'd you have?
Dylan Raiola, the quarterback from Nebraska.
Yes.
Oregon.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that too.
I had predicted a Miami, but Miami's still in it. So,
nothing's signed until they actually get under center and take the snaps. So,
yeah, I guess that is right. Yeah,
nothing's done. So,
we'll see. We'll see.
So like Scott said, I kind of agree with it's I'm looking at all these players we get, and I'm like, well, that's good, that's good, that's good. Then I'm thinking, well, hell, if Hollywood can leave whenever the hell he wants to, you really can't. You really can't be excited anymore. I mean, the only thing you can really get excited for the incoming freshman class who's already on campus practicing with the team. So I mean, anybody here on out, it's you just gotta.
And look, I'm happy with the running back. I'm happy with the running backs we have in house already. I really am. I'm looking forward to the guys.
Backs don't matter. The line is where it's at.
Right.
If you have a dominant line, you can have average backs, and you're fine. Mm-hmm. Just run the play, hang on to the football, and you'll be fine. Right. I mean, you don't. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I think it's my stance has always been in the NFL. Like if I were a general manager, I would never draft a running back in the first round in the NFL. Never. That joker would have to be Barry Sanders reincarnated, or one of the great all-time Walter Payton or somebody. Mm. But in college football, you can take one bell cow, Keywan Lacey, and you could take him and you could run him 20 times a game at a defense, and he's going to make a tremendous difference. Mm-hmm. Okay. However, if you've got a dominant offensive line and you can get 2 or 3 good, not dominant backs, but good backs and playing behind a good offensive line, there's a solution too.
Yeah. And also Justice Haynes is still lurking in the transfer portal. He may want to come home.
You wonder how bad that bridge was burned, if it was burned at all, if they've been in I was kind of thinking that. I said, I wonder what that relationship was like when he left. Or if he would consider, because I mean, look, Michigan's offense stinks. I mean, Michigan's offense absolutely stunk this year, but he was a bright spot. I mean, he was still ripping off runs, and then when he got hurt, like they had nothing on offense. So, I mean, he was producing in a system which the starting quarterback, I don't even think Underwood threw for 2,000 yards this past year, and he only threw like 11 touchdowns. So,
yeah, I also know Bama got a 6'4" corner out of Mercer. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't remember. I didn't write it down. I just remember the ones from the day.
I've heard a lot of good things about the guy. I've heard he's a pretty legit player. And I watched some of his highlight. Of course, you can say whatever you want. It's Mercer. Give me guys that want to stink and play, and want to play hard nosed football. I don't give a crap where they're from. It's funny because I'll save it for my rant. I can't stand it. I'm not going to do it. You're not. I don't care. Dangle the carrot all you want. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking the bait.
Come on, pizza money. Pizza money.
No, I refuse.
All right.
I
Well,
refuse.
I'm going to ask y'all this question, and then we'll kind of segue out. Boss, what are you looking for the rest of this period of transfer portal for Bama? What would make the boss happy?
Again, what am I supposed to get excited about? I mean, I'm sorry. I got burned. I got burned bad the other day. You know, uh, I mean, I haven't been able to enjoy it. Like I said, I'm watching the O line. O line should be focused. That's what I've been paying attention to. Again, we brought 7 guys in, whether it be through recruiting or portal, for the O line. I'm happy with the guys that we've got. Um, Obviously, I'm not, thinking any of them are going to jump ship like, you know, shithead did. I said it. But I think what am I looking forward to? I mean, I'm honestly just ready for it to be over. The faster the window closes, the better. Before we lose anybody else. I mean, again, we've had, man, as Bama fans, but this has not been an exciting ride. I mean, it's a roller coaster. It's been a complete roller coaster. Look, and then there's not another window opening like there normally is in the spring. Apparently, this is it. So at least we don't have to look to that.
Mm-hmm.
Who we have on our team at the end of this is it. So we don't have to worry about another window opening. I do look forward to that. And then it's just on to spring training and just get us there. Just get this dang window closed and let's move on. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Just kind of looking at the players left, I think the tackle from Mississippi State, Jimothy, I don't remember his last name, but he would be like, if we could like kind of round out the offensive line with that guy, I think I'd be happy. Bo, anything else? Any particular player out there that you would like?
I'd love to get a shot at I would love to get the kid from Missouri, the edge rusher, put him on the other side of Yanzi. that could be an explosive pass rush. Those two. I mean, Yanzi had 9-10 sacks as a freshman. I mean, you got to like his upside. And the one thing I will say about all the portal stuff and the transfer stuff, none of the 25 guys have left. The guys that DeBoer's recruiting are staying. You know why? Because I would be willing to bet you. I mean, again, I'm not there. This is solely speculation. Is that they are getting the better offers and the better deals because the guys that they are specifically going and recruiting and pulling in from the recruiting trail are guys that specifically fit what they want to do. You know, Bill Belichick talked about that all the time. I talked about this on the other show. He would look for the best player he ever had at one position and then try to find the closest player that reminded him of that player. So, and I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but they're recruiting players that fit certain needs and fit certain ways into the puzzle to make it all fit and work together. So, and then you look at some of these other guys of these highly touted, these 4 and 5 stars. They got all these stars by their names, and they don't have many stats. You know, it's almost as if, hey, I'm going to use the Bama brand, stamp it by my name, and then I'm going to hop in the portal and ask for another 30%. I know there's some of that going on, but it's not happening just there. I mean, Ohio State, they've kind of been very underwhelming in the portal like us. However, you sign Haywood, you get the other guard from Michigan. They obviously like their young guys. You got Carroll coming back. You get a reworked offensive line. And the great thing is Haywood was a redshirt freshman. Mm-hmm. So you get him for a couple years, Strahan, what's his name? The guard from Michigan. Anyway,
I don't have that one written down.
Yeah, the guard that they signed earlier on. I think he was either a freshman or a sophomore. Carroll's going to be a sophomore. They've got a bunch. You look at their depth chart; it's like all fresh. Right now, they're all freshmen and redshirt freshmen. So the one positive to people say, "Oh, well, they're inexperienced." The only way you can get experience is to freaking play. I want guys that are hungry, want to get
Right.
out there, want to do something. And a name that I keep looking for is Mal Waldrep, that big 6'5", 330-pound guard from Phoenix City. You look at a specimen like that and just, that they've got them all over that offensive line. I mean, all those guys are highly touted. The talent's there now. I think you get the big left tackle, the big staple left tackle. Carroll's at the right tackle. You're set there. Work on that interior, and ought to be good things ahead. Now you're looking to build depth and competition.
And one other one, Keon Kelly went to Notre Dame today. I don't know if y'all saw that or not.
Yeah, I did.
Saw it.
Okay. All
Was
right.
that before or after Marcus Freeman got arrested?
Yes.
Just asking for a friend. Have y'all heard about that? The whole thing at his kid's was it basketball game or something? Oh, it sounds absurd. And I'm making a joke about it because I thought y'all probably already heard about it. Go and find it and read the article. And I read an article on it. It sounds totally ridiculous. I mean, I'm like 100% in Marcus Freeman's corner unless video comes out of him punching the guy in the face or something. But other than that, you're looking at this and you're going, what are they doing? I mean, it's so absurd. It's so like there was an altercation in a game, and he went on the court to get his son or something. It's absurd. Let's put it that way. It's ridiculous. To me, it makes Freeman look really bad because here he is. His name is in this police report, and you're looking at it and you're going, he probably did nothing other than any other father would do for their son in an altercation like that to get him and get him out of there. So it'll be interesting when more details come out, but I thought you guys might have heard about it.
I guess me and Scott have some homework to do.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
definitely.
It just sounds ridiculous, but Marcus Freeman doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that is, as much as I despise Notre Dame, I mean, he strikes me as a class guy. So, but I mean, shoot, you never know, man. People, all we see is what we see on TV. So you don't ever know what people are like till you see them behind closed doors.
Well, I can't stand articles like that when they're vaguely written and you don't know, fact from fiction. But the producer, Scott, what can't you stand?
All right. Boy, that was right on cue because we've been talking so much about Alabama and the offensive line movement. And I say this with a full heart because my as anybody that knows me knows I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And I just watched both my teams this year have defenses that literally kept us in games. It's very similar. Very similar. Eagles and Alabama, very, very similar this year in terms of, heavy defensive production. Okay. Our defense was responsible for a lot of our wins this year, both in Alabama and Philadelphia. Same thing. The one problem we seem to have is O-line. There's other things in Philadelphia, but we'll do that when that channel comes in. But O-line, okay? And here's my issue with our O-line right now. Why is this offensive line, why is this lineman, our offensive lineman coach, why is he still employed at Alabama? Can somebody explain that to me? Why is he still there? Why is he still there? I can't stand that man is still in the building. What are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? What are we doing? Where are we right now? I just don't understand. What other proof did you need that he needed to be fired a long time ago? Like, I don't understand how he made it through the damn season. He's still there. We're halfway through January. Okay? Our season's been over now for a couple of weeks. What is he still doing here? He's still getting paid. For what? And then I hear that he's out eating lunch and dinner with some of these guys coming in. That tells me he's not going anywhere. What? Are you serious?
If he was going somewhere, they'd have fired him as soon as that plane touched down from the Rose Bowl.
Right. So I can't stand that that's happening. And guess what? Apparently that's going to linger into the damn season because he's not going anywhere. I just don't understand why these. Look, we've already seen examples of players not being held accountable. Okay, when you got players coming out on the field and they can't catch a ball or they can't make a tackle and they continuously just have them in there, they're not pulling them, they're not taking them out, they're not being held accountable. You don't ever see the coaches over there yelling at them or talking to them or nothing. They just do whatever. Coaching, it's the same exact thing. Like if a coach if his position, that position coach, if that position is consistently out of oh, sorry guys, I get on it. I'm on it. Why is this guy still there? Why is he there? I don't understand. If anybody needed to be gone already, it was him, and he's still there.
And one thing, one thing that I couldn't understand is how they it seemed like seemingly every series they were rotating offensive linemen.
Yeah, the entire year.
I've never seen that in my life. Now, the only thing I've ever seen is when I've seen offensive lines rotate strength and weakness based on the call, because your looks on the strong side and the weak side are usually going to be very similar. So if you're putting the same guys basically into the same look, it's easier it can make the learning curve easier for the blocking scheme. We did that one year. We flipped our line based on the call. So on the back side you're going to get this, and on the front side you're going to on the play side, on the strong side you're going to get this. And that can make it easier, but I have never seen anybody rotate bodies series. When I saw that, I was like, this is a joke. This is a joke.
All year long. Every game. All year long. All year long.
It's if somebody's not getting the job done, take them out and go to somebody else and then let them go. Don't let them go for one series and then put the other guy back in. Let them go. If they're getting beat that bad, take them out and put somebody else in, but don't keep rotating. The offensive line takes the longest to come together of any position group on the field. And when you're rotating like that, you can't get the continuity. And I guarantee I'd rather play with a lesser player, but him know his role and know what he's supposed to do than to have that.
And who do you think was making that call? Like who's responsible for these substitutions? And these ins and outs?
That's got to be on the OC.
Right. So this goes back to Grubb, and I'm sure the O-line coach is involved too, to some extent. He's got to have his say in things.
I guarantee you, in their team meeting, when they're doing their weekly prep and they're doing their meetings, this is the plan they're coming up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we see how that turned out.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they should have Lane Kiffin them on the tarmac, is what y'all are saying.
Sure. We can go with that.
I think the dogs are calling over at Coach Bo's house. I have a question.
I got a golden doodle, and she goes crazy, man. It's almost like having another human in the house.
Who let the dog out?
Who let the dog out?
Who?
All right, Bo. All right, last one. What's your you got anything you can't stand?
All right, this is what I can't stand. So everybody keeps talking about, okay, the Big Ten's overtaking the SEC. No, the SEC's still on top, and this conference is this, and this conference is that. Guys, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. I felt like Doc on Back to the Future. Well, I got hit with a bolt of lightning the other day, and it dawned on me, and I realized, I said, that is a futile argument. It doesn't matter. And let me explain. Because what is the king now? There is no conference that is the best conference. What controls football now is the portal and NIL, period. Now, the portal has done different things to different conferences. Like, for example, the Big Ten, you've got a couple of really good teams at the top that are on the national stage. And you got a handful of good, not great teams. And then you got 10 teams that are trash right now. But out of that trash, with the right portal class and the right incoming recruiting class, you can go from trash to that good stack pretty quick. So that's what I'm saying. I think the argument is futile because, people are making the bowl game argument. Well, I mean, half of the Big Ten's bowl game wins were against G5 teams had to go to overtime to beat Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota had to go to overtime to beat New Mexico, and then you beat Central Michigan. And, the games they're fine. I mean, I enjoy watching the bowl games. I do, but they don't mean what they once meant. Then you look at the SEC and you're like, oh, they're terrible. They're terrible because so many they had a losing bowl record. And I'm like, did nobody watch the regular season? I mean, rosters makes a difference. The strength of rosters makes a difference. When you play, where you play makes a difference. But the way that the NIL has affected the SEC is the talent's more spread out. In the ACC, it's concentrated. There's about 4 or 5 pretty good teams at the top. That's it. The Big 12, you got 1 or 2 teams. And then you got the rest of the conference is just trying to sort through and kind of figure out a way to be relevant. So to sit there and say, well, the Big Ten has passed the SEC, or to even try to sit there and refute it is a fool's errand, because it doesn't matter anymore. Because just like this year, the SEC had 6 teams that won 10 games. Next year they might have 2, but they might have the 2 best teams in all of college football that nobody can touch, and they might end up playing for the national championship. Would that make the SEC the best conference? No. It just means they have 2 teams that probably worked the portal the best and had good recruiting classes to go with it, and probably have elite coaching. I will say that's the one thing that the SEC needs to improve upon the most is coaching, and I think there's teams in the SEC that are starting to figure that out. Like Florida, getting rid of Billy Napier. I saw Florida the other day. 20 of their 22 starters, 11 of them have an NFL draft grade. They've got 11 NFL starters on that roster, and they won 2 conference games. That's how bad Billy Napier did. People look at Florida and they go, "Oh, Florida's terrible." And then you unpack their roster, and you go, "How the hell did they only win 2 conference games?" So I look at these teams, and it's just like, you watch the teams at the top in the Big Ten. Ohio State's got holes. They've got bad holes. Oregon's got bad holes. Bama's got holes. LSU's got, well, of course, they were only a 7-5 team this year, but we all know that ain't going to last. We all know LSU's going to be at the top of that conference. One interesting fact, all the teams from the Big Ten and the SEC in the tournament, in the playoff, either lost to themselves or the exact same, or the 2 teams that are playing for the national championship. I was thinking about that today. Miami beat A&M. They beat Ole Miss. They beat Ohio State. Indiana beat Alabama. Indiana beat Oregon. And there you go. So all those teams are pretty close, with the exception of Indiana. I think Indiana's probably a hit above everybody. But what I can't stand is people making an argument that was legitimate 10 years ago. Because you're going to see so much fluctuation in college football. It's going to change so rapidly. You're going to have to know these rosters. You're going to have to know the portal. You're going to have to watch the recruiting. And it's not just, the SEC used to all just be about recruit and develop. Recruit and develop. You didn't have to worry about players leaving. And if you missed on 2 5-stars, it didn't matter because you had another one. You had another one tucked away. Well, the rosters are more spread out. It's more concentrated at the top in the Big Ten. Does that make the Big Ten a better conference? Again, it's all subjective, and all in what argument you want to make. And I wouldn't care if Ole Miss was in the national championship, in the driver's seat to win the national championship. I'd be saying the exact same thing. One game wouldn't change my mind. But I started thinking about it the other night, and I was like, because I was watching some show, and somebody was trying to make that argument. And I was like, but hold on. And then I started making all these connections, and I said, it doesn't matter, because the portal and NIL controls everything. And it's going to be, the situations are going to be so fluid now. It's like Iowa, for example, had a good season, 9 wins. Or no, 8 wins. Beat Vanderbilt in the bowl game. Got 27 seniors. So, and they they're losing their quarterback. I know he's going to be gone. They're taking huge hits. Can they replace that? I don't know. We'll see. But again, I will not make any arguments about who's the best at anything because the portal and NIL control everything, and I can't stand it.
All right. Nicely said. I like it. All right, Mob. On our Big Ten Mob, let him have it. I think he said your conference is about fourth of the power fours. That's what I heard.
Oh no,
Anyway.
I absolutely did not.
This
This is what I think. You got the SEC, and you got the Big Ten are basically 1A and 1B. I don't care who's A and who's B, and you're going to have your champion most years. That's probably going to come from one of those two conferences. This year, you've got Miami as an outlier, but you could clearly see Big 12, the best team in the Big 10, or Texas Tech, the best team in the Big 12. They got a long way to go. And I don't think getting a quarter, that's fine. You spend all that money on, was it Sorsby, who went 7-6 at Cincinnati, and they scored some points, but they also got smashed in some games too. So, I don't know. I don't know how much help he's going to do. We'll see. Again, they might be in the same position next year. He might get hurt and they go 6-6.
Scott, last word.
I've said all I need to say, my friend. We're
All
good.
right. Well, that'll do it for this show, Mob. We will have a preview show. I don't know. I guess we'll let you know. We'll discuss it. Put out some feelers. But let us know in the comments who you think's going to win, Miami or Indiana. We have our take, and we'll have ours on the next episode of the 4th and 31 podcast. For the producer and for the coach, I am the Chad Bullock. We will see you next time.